starting. Okay, students, so this is syllabus for database management lab. And as far as this lab is concerned, you have to appear for oral exam at the end of semester having 25 marks. And whenever we see the syllabus of this particular database management lab, so it is divided in two parts. One is there are certain programs of database management. It is related to SQL, and group B is related to programs which is related to PLSQL, that is procedure language SQL. So when we see the programs of group A, we know that we are using MySQL as a software for running program of SQL, and it can be used as a IDE, that is integrated development environment for running an MySQL code. So we will go for that experiment number 1, which is a study experiment. So here we want to go for studying an open source relational database software, that is MySQL. Anyone who can tell me what is meaning of open source?
Which do not require license and can be accessible.
Okay, licensing is not required to use this software, so it is called as a open source software. And then by using these softwares, we have to go for running some SQL queries using different SQL languages. Like you can go for first DDL statements to be run. What is DDL? Anyone who can tell me?
Data definition language.
Okay, DDL having long form as a data definition language. And then there are statements like create, then you can go for update. So all these are the DDL statement, and we have to go for creating a table, creating a database, as well as we can create a view in a view of database in a SQL. We can create an index of database in SQL. We can create a sequence, and we can produce a synonym also. So we have to perform all these operations which are related to DDL in this experiment number 2. Then when we deal with experiment number 3, so here we have to go for developing or writing at least 5 SQL queries, and they are related to DML. DML means what?
Data manipulation.
Manipulation language means you had already created a database using DDL statement. Now we want to go for manipulating the data present within the database. So you can go for statement like modify, then update, then you can go for alter, you can go for insert, delete, drop. All these are different, we can say that statements of SQL, they comes under DML. So here we are going for insert and select statement with operators and functions. So there are operators like you can go for AND operator, OR operator, NOT operator. With the help of, you can combine these queries and you can use these operators within your particular queries. So this is experiment number 3. Then we have experiment number 4. So here we are going for again queries like again DML queries, but here the queries are like update and delete with operators and function. And finally, in this experiment number 5, we have to go for again there are DML queries with join. So which are the types of join? Anyone you can tell me? Which are the types?
Inner join, left hand join, right hand join.
Okay, so basically
join.
Okay, basically there are 2 types of join: inner join and outer join. Inner join is also called as equi-join. Outer join is also classified like it is go for this full outer, left outer, right outer join. So we have to go for this join operations, and we have to write a query for each join operation in this experiment number 5. By the way, you can tell me, anyone you can tell me what is the use of join?
So to combine 2 relation models.
So it is useful for combining 2 relations, or we can say that it is useful for combining 2 tables. Whenever we want to go for connecting 2 tables, there are 2 options. Either you can go for set union operation, or you can go for this join. but whenever we go for set union, then it directly combine all the values which are present and which are matching. But we can go for different conditions in case of this joins. So we have this experiment number 5 that is related to join. Then we are having a group B practical. So they are related to PLSQL. So PLSQL again it is a variation of SQL. So it is procedure language SQL, and procedure this PLSQL follows the block structure. Means, for example, whenever we are going for any C program, a fixed structure is present. Like first we have to go for inserting header file, then we can go for main function. After main function, we have to declare variable first, which are required in program under the main function. Then we can go for taking input from user. Then we have to perform operation, and then we have to go for printing the output using printf function. So there is a fixed structure for every C program is present. So similarly, whenever we are going for a PLSQL, so there are different blocks, like there is a declaration section, then there is an exception handling or error handling section, as well as there is a particular section where we have to write an program or SQL queries. So PLSQL follows this block structure. And here there is a problem statement, like there are two schemas are present. What is meaning of schema? Anyone who can tell me?
Structure of database.
Data.
Okay, so schema means structure of a database. So there are two database. One is named as a borrower and another one is a find. And you can perform all these operations within these two tables or within these two database, like accepting roll number and name and book from the user, as well as we have to perform different operations. So we have to go for performing all these operations, but using an PLSQL programming. Now, in this segment number 7, we have to deal with another concept related to PLSQL. So they are called as a cursors, and cursors is a area which, or it is a temporary area which is created whenever database is created. So cursor is a concept related to PLSQL, and there are types of cursor, like you can say that implicit cursor and explicit cursor. So we have to go for this demonstration of cursor using a problem statement. So here there is a problem statement is present, and you have to go for implementation of cursor using that problem statement. And when we see the experiment number 8, so it is again related to two different concepts of PLSQL. One is called a stored procedure and another one is a stored function. We know that a function is useful for performing certain tasks, and we can go for procedure also. There is a slight difference between stored procedure and stored function. So these both concepts we have to implement here in this experiment number 8 with the help of some problem statement given here. And finally, we have to go for experiment number 9, which is related to another concept of PLSQL called as trigger. So here we have to deal with the trigger of particular PLSQL with the help of some problem statement. So these are total 9 experiments which we have for this particular subject, database management lab. So first 5 experiments is related to basic SQL, and then remaining 4 experiments are related to PLSQL. All of you are getting what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for both running the PLSQL code and SQL code, that is basic SQL code, we are using MySQL software. So how to install MySQL software? Our experiment number first is study of open source relational database software, that is MySQL. So how to go for installation of MySQL? So for installation of MySQL, there are some .exe files you need to go for, and all these .exe files are present on my drive, and I will share all these files with you so you can download and you can install in your laptop. So this particular folder, there is a folder like MySQL softwares. It contains total 5 files. So this is an my installation guide. This is a Word file. And second one is, this is MySQL GUI tools. First one is MySQL Essential, and this third software is MySQL Workbench. And we have another software. Again, it is really invented by, or it is made by Oracle. So Oracle 10G. All these softwares we are using throughout this our database management lab. So I will share all these things with you. So I will open this Word file present over there. So it contains MySQL installation step. So step number 1 is what you have to double click on first software. So that is MySQL Essential 5.1. So this is an MySQL Essential software. And then whenever you are going for installing that MySQL Essential software, you require certain credentials to be enter there. So you are going for, or whenever in the process of installation, it is asking for port number. So you have to go for port number is 3306. Then username is root, password is again root, and the host name is localhost. Whenever you are installing this first software, you have to go for all these credentials. This credential is same for all installation. So you have to follow all these credentials. And after successful installation of this first software, that is MySQL Essential, you have to go for this step number 2. And here you have to go for installing the second software, that is MySQL graphical user interface tool. So this is MySQL graphical user interface tool. And you need not to go for any credential for the software. You have to just click next, and you can finally finish with the installation. And after successful installation of this MySQL graphical user interface tool, the third step is you can go for this MySQL workbench. So this is the third and last step you have to do. So you have to install this MySQL workbench at the end. So all of you are getting this procedure? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you have to do here, you have to first go for this MySQL Essential software. You have to install, and then there are certain credentials. It should be asked like port number, then username, password, and host name. So you have to go for all these credentials. Then after installing this first of software, you have to go for second one, that is MySQL graphical user interface tools. And for this again, we have after that we have to go for this MySQL workbench. This Oracle 10G is not required for first some experiment. So we will install that later. But first you have to do all these things. First you have to install this software number 1, software number 2, and software number 3. So after installing all this software, I will share this URL with you, so you can access this particular shared drive. So data is stored in my drive, and you can access using that shared link that is shared on your group. So after successful installing all these softwares, you are having an this type of software you are having. And whenever I'm searching here, what I'm searching, I want to search MySQL. So there are certain options like I'm going for MySQL query browsers, then MySQL command line client, MySQL administrator, migration toolkit, system tray monitor. But I want that MySQL workbench. So what I'm doing, I'm searching MySQL workbench and I'm clicking over there. So whenever I'm clicking on MySQL workbench, after successful installation of all the 3 softwares, you are getting this type of graphical user interface with you. So here there are, this is GUI for MySQL. So there are different options like file, edit, view, database, plugins, then scripting and help. And there are 3 different parts here, like first part is related to development of SQL, then another part is related to data modeling, and another one is related to server administration. So whenever we want to go for starting phase of this particular MySQL, so here you have to click to the new connection. And whenever you are clicking on a new connection, this type of window is pop up. So it is asking like, what is connection name, what is connection method, which one is the host name, and what is the port number, what is username, and then what should be the password. You have to enter password here. I will say one by one. Suppose my connection name means I want to create a database. So suppose my connection name, I will go for any name. Suppose I'm going for name as a iCore, and then you can go for any name. After that, you have to keep this host name as it is. You have to keep this port number as it is. You have to keep this username as it is, and then you have to click here like store in vault. So whenever you are clicking store in vault, then it is asking like a username and password. So username is already root, and password is again root. Everyone carefully listen here. While installing that MySQL, you had used this credential like username is root and password is root, and this port number is 3306 and host name is localhost. So you can follow only these credentials. So here password is again root, that is small ROOT, and I am clicking OK here. Then this particular connection is created. And now I want to go for creating a connection. So I am clicking OK here. Then you know that a particular connection is created. Now, so here iCore, this connection is created. I had already created some other connections. So all the list of all connections I had created, that should be present over here. So right now I had created this iCore as a connection. So I'm clicking on that. I'm going for double clicking on that. So whenever I'm double clicking on that, so and a particular another graphical user interface is open, and this is an SQL editor where we want to go for writing our queries, and we want to go for executing our queries. All of you getting up to this, or is there any doubt? Should I repeat the procedure once again? Am I audible to you, students?
No, sir.
Okay. So once again, I'm telling you, you can go for this MySQL workbench, and then you can go to the new connection. You can go for entering that password by clicking on set values, and then you can go for a particular connection name, and then you can double click on the connection. So you are getting this type of graphical user interface to be open. So this is connection name as a iCore, which I had created. And now here there is an white space where we want to write an query, and then we can go for performing any SQL query operation in this particular white space. So first thing is that I want to go for create a database. So I'm writing like this, create database. Suppose the name of database is like, suppose it is equal to okay, so I'm going for like DB50. There are these database I had already created. The list of already created database that should be present over like DB1, DB2, DB3, then FDB database, and so on. So I am going for another name other than these. I am going for, I don't go for like DB1, DB2, DB3. Suppose I am going for DB1, then what can happen? I will tell you. Suppose I am going for DB1, and then I have to execute this line. Everyone carefully listen here. I want to go for execute this line. So there is an option like, there are two options like here. One is execute the selected portion of the script or everything if there is no selection. And we are having second option like execute the statement under the keyboard cursor. So here now my cursor of keyboard is at this particular line number 1. So I want to execute only this line. So I am selecting this second option. And whenever I am going for this executing second option, it shows me an error like this. Means here there is an error like can't create DB1 as database already exists. Means here there is a link. Here there is a list of database which I already created. So the database DB1, DB2, DB3, and all these database are already present. So what I do, I will go for, suppose it is DB4. This DB4 is exist in this list or not? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay. So
What, sir?
this database 4, DB4 name, is exist in this list or not?
No, sir, not
No.
existing.
Okay, so you can create. So I will again click here to execute this line. And now this database is created, and it shows one rows in that database get affected. So this is how you can go for create database. I'm not saying that I want to go for creating a table. So here first I have to create a database. So create is a particular DDL statement. DDL means
Data definition language.
Definition.
okay. Then we can go for again use this database which we created. So we are going for this statement like use DB4. And then there is an error like check syntax. So here use database DB4. And then there is again still error. So we have to go for this particular query here. So what is remaining is you can go for a semicolon here also, and in some syntax semicolon is needed. So I am providing a semicolon here. Again, I am running that. So here the database, DATABASE, use database. So I have to go for, what is there? Okay. So only you have to provide the name of database like use DB4. Now this query is successfully completed, means we are created a database and we can go for using that database within our program. All of you getting up to this, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, after using that database, I will go for another query here. Like I want to show the tables present in this. So I'm going for like show table. And if there is an error in that syntax, then it should be shown like here, there is a cross mark. So I'm going for, it is show tables. Now it is cross mark is not present over there, means our statement should be correct one. So I'm going for, I want to show the tables present in DB4. We had created database here and there is no table present. So whenever I'm executing this query, it shows nothing, means tables in DB4, nothing should be present. All of you are getting what I'm doing here? Yes or no? All of you are getting what I'm saying. I want to show the all tables present within that database, but it is database is already created and it doesn't contain anything. So it doesn't show anything here. If I want to create a table, what I have to do here, anyone who can tell me? If I want to create a new table in the database, how to do that? Which statement I am using for creating a database?
So create.
Create database is a statement. And suppose I want to create a table, then what is statement?
Create table.
Okay, so answer is correct. You can go for create table statement. So for example, you can use this particular syntax for creating a table. So see here, this is the syntax for creating a table in a database. Okay, so the statement is create table, and then there is a name of table, that is student info. You can go for any name. And then after that, in opening parenthesis, we have to provide the name of the columns present in that table, and we have to provide the correct data type of that column. Means here there are a number of columns like roll number. So roll number is the name of column and which contain integer as a data type. And this is size of that integer that can be stored in that particular roll number attribute. And we are having another attribute here or another thing present over here called as a primary key. So what is primary key? Anyone who can tell me? I had already discussed this. Primary key means what?
So first column of the table.
Okay, first column of a table is called as a primary key. So first column of the student info table is roll number. So we are going for this constraint primary key to this particular table. And we have again another column in that table is name. And here there is a data type of that name is variable character, var_char. So there is two data type. One is character and another one is variable character. So difference between them is that whenever we are going for character, it is having fixed length, and variable character means we can specify size here like variable character and then 30 means it indicate the name is having maximum 30 character it can store. Then we have another particular column name as an email ID. Again, it is a variable character having size of 30. We have mobile number is again column name in present in that student info. And then it is a character type. Again, we have a course as an attribute, again, variable character type, and so on. And after that, we have to go for ending the opening closing parenthesis with an semicolon. So whenever I have to run this line, so I'm clicking over here anywhere in that line, and then I'm going for executing this. So it is asking like create table is created or a table is created. So a table is created. So whether the table is created or not, so how it can be decided. So we are going for again show table on this particular line, means again calling this query show table here to the next line. And now I want to go for executing this query. So it shows a table here. Okay, so this table contain a particular value, or it contain particular table. This database DB4 contain a table called name as a student underscore info. This indicator table is created. We are only created a table. The values in the table is not present. We want to insert values in that particular table, but we can go for finding the structure of that table using this describe command like DESC. DESC is a short form for the describe, and the name of table is stud underscore info. So I want to go for describing the table, means which type of data is present in that table, means which are the columns present in that table. So this DESC is a command useful for describing the columns of table. So whenever I'm executing this, I'm getting an output like this. Means here there is an output you are getting like this. Means a table is contain or this table contain different columns like roll number, name, email ID, mobile number, and course. And these are the data types of that each column. Roll number is of integer type, name is of variable character type, email ID is again variable character, mobile number, it is we know that mobile number is only having 10 digits or 10 characters, so we are going for fixed character here. And course is again variable character data type. And by default, nothing is present in case of this particular tables, means values are not present inside that column. So by default, they are filled with null value. So whenever value is not present, it is filled with null in case of SQL. And we know that this roll number we are assigned as a primary key. So here PRI, it should be present over here. So all of you are getting this output? Yes or no?